and I went 7-1, and I believe I went 1-1 in games that I didn't draw the Superhero Civil War, and I just drew that card 6 times and and
Okay.
stole games with it.
Okay.
I know the data. Let's see. The data was saying Captain Marvel was above that card, and I'm going to say that's because Superhero Civil War is a two-color card, and that is why. Um,
That would be my guess. Yeah.
I think there has not been a card printed in a long time as broken as this card. You can basically have no board and be that far behind and win games with this card.
Okay, Jacob, I spotted you on camera multiple times this weekend. How'd you and your team end up doing?
We got 12th at the Spotlight in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Not
I
bad.
think we were pretty happy with that in the end, even though we did lose the last 2 rounds, so that's a little unfortunate. But
I know, I
it
was
was
so
a little.
crushed.
I mean, expected is not the word, but we played against two teams with players that I would say are better than us, or at least as good as us, and their decks were just way stronger than ours. And you know, it's pretty interesting because on day one, I would say we had a lot of the best rares in the set. Colin got to play a deck that featured both the Superhero Civil War and Monica Rambeau.
Nice.
I had the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl and Mjolnir, and Eddie had Leader. So that's like five of the very top rares in the set, I'd say. But we were like struggling for two drops. Like I played four, Colin played four, and Eddie played three, and that was literally all we could like muster up.
Mm.
Um, and then on day two, we did not have quite the great package of rares, but our decks were much more streamlined. Um, and Colin and I actually started both 4-0, 8-0. We play a bit faster than Eddie. Eddie probably would have won maybe all of his first four matches as well, but probably at least three of them. Um, but then, yeah, we just played against two great teams with great decks. In the last round, John Puglisi had three photons in his Boros deck.
Oh my gosh.
And then I played against Corey Burkhart with
Oh wow.
Leader, and I also played against Steve Rubin in the feature match area, and he had double Super Scroll. Um,
Can you imagine how stoked you'd be to get multiple of like the same broken rare in Team Sealed?
yeah, that one at least has a flip side. Honestly, if it didn't have a flip
Ugh.
side, it might be kind of a bait card to have three of in the same deck. But because you could just run one out on turn three when you know you're going to have another one on turn five, like
Yeah.
that's not really going to be an issue with that card. The flip side actually will probably come up a lot for a deck like that.
Yeah. Pretty sick.
Yeah, pretty cool. I actually did not get any matches on camera, I believe. Only
No.
my two teammates did.
What the hell?
Um, Colin had a sweet play against Hain where everybody thought he was dead, and he was facing down four lethal flyers at one life to start his turn, and he managed to play a flying blocker and answer three of the flyers in the same turn and then win that game. So that was pretty sweet. Um, but that
Okay.
was a match we lost, unfortunately. But ultimately, so the teams we lost to were on day one, uh, the one of Shuhei's team with Riku Kamagai and Rei Hirayama, I want to say his name is, and then we lost to Nathan Stoyer, Austin Bursavich, and Oliver Tamaiko. Those were our two losses on day one, and then on day two, we lost to the team of the three Pro Tour champions: Steve Rubin, Alexander Hain, and Andre Strosky, and then also Corey Burkhart and the two Puglisi brothers, Joseph and John. If you don't know them, they've been top aiding a lot of RCs and spotlights. I believe John at this point in the last year has maybe won two either RC/spotlight events.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, talk to me a little bit about like the dynamic of these Team Seal events. So, first of all, for those listening, we are going to cover Marvel Superhero Sealed today. We're going to focus specifically on, like individual sealed, maybe even best of one, since we're focusing on the Arena Direct that's running. But just really quick as a tangent, these events, Team Sealed, you get 12 packs instead of your six. But you have three players, and then I also noticed like tons of old pros that I haven't seen in a long time doing really well at this event. So just kind of give me a rundown of what the difference between Team Sealed is and how it all
Yeah, I
works out.
mean, if you've ever played a two of a giant pre-release, you get about the same pool of cards, though with two less random like foil rares. Um, and I don't know to you or our listeners if you've played two of a giant. I always struggle to like build get or rather to get my two decks to 40 cards in two of a giant because I just feel like you can just have two amazing, even like 60 card decks if you really wanted. So it's much more appropriate, I think, to get three decks. That being said, usually what will happen, you'll probably identify two that look rather strong and then still kind of maybe struggle with a third one. And you kind of have to share that power sometimes. You know, there's only five colors to play with, so you can't all just like have two colors to yourself. Um, and in fact, in this format, there was some unique things. On day one, we played zero black cards across our three decks, actually.
Surprising.
And then I had some removal in the boards that I could board in a splash too. And then on day two, we almost played zero black cards. We played zero mono black creatures. I had the black removal and some gold cards, which I'll get into later. But I think the black creatures in the set are very like understated. Like you will learn that you'll be playing them out, and your creatures will just all be smaller than your opponents. Um, and that just becomes kind of an issue in limited, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I would think it'd be kind of a big deal to not include a color at all when you have that
yeah,
many packs. So you must have had pretty poor, black cards in general.
yeah. No real strong rares, that's for sure. So nothing to like draw us like Super Scroll or things like that. Um, and then yeah, I mean the deck building process. It was 75 minutes. It was kind of funny. They had this piece of paper that said you'll have 60 minutes for deck build and then 15 minutes to complete registration and sleeve your decks or something. And when I was reading that, I was just like, what does 15 minutes to complete registration mean? Like, does that mean just 15 more minutes? And ultimately, what ended up happening is we had like our decks ready at 60 minutes, but you have to register your sideboards. You don't get one big shared sideboard. You each have to pick some of the cards that you believe you would be sideboarding. It doesn't have to be like an even distribution or anything like that, but each player has their own sideboard among the extra cards in the pool, basically. Um, and day one, because I was like a green red deck with access to all of the black cards, and I was the only person playing green or red. I had a huge sideboard basically, and my teammates
I
hadn't really
see.
anything.
So you had to
Um,
register a big ol' stack of cards.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that took me a while, and then on day two they said we're just gonna give you 75 minutes, not 60 and then 15. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. But then
Yeah.
they're like, but after that zero, then you would get a warning if you weren't done, I guess.
Mm, mm.
Um, but yeah, I in practice, we did some pools together, and we had just were discussing rares and stuff, and I had my PT channels, um, so I was getting info from those and trying to share with my teammates. And I did a lot of work on myself where I would just open, two draft sim pools and copy them together and put it in sealdeck.tech. And rather than try, at some point I kind of gave up on just trying to work out building all three decks by myself because it became a bit exhausting. But I was really feeling like I had a good understanding of green from drafting. So I just started building a green deck out of every pool with 12 packs, which I think is not necessarily like I would say it's the third strongest color. I think the white and blue cards very obviously can like you can make a deck with them, and also that means that in Team Sealed it's kind of harder to have a white blue deck. I think because you would just have like too many good cards.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I just focused on building green decks, and in both our pools we had an unbeatable Squirrel Girl, and I just took the green cards and looked at them and laid them out and kind of decided, what second color I would need, if any, to pair with the green cards here, and then we kind of, worked it out from there, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
played green all weekend. Um, Played the unbeatable Squirrel Girl all weekend. That was pretty fun.
Sweet. Yeah. So, I guess the one last thing I'll say about team events, Team Sealed, is I hinted earlier that I saw all these like old pros playing. I think team events tend to be they're kind of interesting. First of all, they're a ton of fun, for sure. I'd love to play in some. I've played in one, exactly one in my whole, career. because they just don't have that many, and I don't play that many big tournaments to begin with. But basically, these big teams can be kind of daunting to play against because it's already bad enough when you get paired against like a world class player. But then when the whole team is three world class players, it's like their win percentage kind of it's like they're playing best of nine almost. You can imagine if you
No,
played a best of nine against an expert player, you'd have an even smaller chance than winning a best of three against them.
absolutely. I mean, if anybody at home has ever thought about their win rate in best of one arena drafts compared to like best of three, it's kind
Mhm.
of going to be that same delta again, honestly.
Yeah,
Um, it's the same math where, like two out of three of those results have to be losses in order for them to take a loss.
exactly. Yeah.
So
So they can be extra hard for rookie players, but I mean, you guys did quite well, I would say. So
yeah, and I was
good to
pretty
see.
happy. Eddie, like I said, plays a bit slower than me and Colin, and I just got in the habit of like after I finished my match, I would figure out what the life totals were in his match and probably need like a turn, but really just tried to like absorb everything that was happening over the course of a turn. And then if needed, especially if clock was needed, I could basically just play for him
Okay.
because I just play quite fast. It
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
really get
yeah.
to that point except for like the last round of day one, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, pretty like good skill I feel like I worked on where but at the same time because you can't help each other if you are unfamiliar with team tournaments at home and I would advise, not spending too much time helping each other while playing your own matches. Me personally, even, if I got asked something, which was not common because my teammates understood, but it's really hard, to like lose focus of my own match in order to do that even. So
Yeah, and you
I,
have to like gander. You have to absorb the focus of the other match too, which is hard to do
yeah.
from a glance. And there's things you may not have picked up on that the person playing will have.
Yeah, and people often like show each other their mulligans or what if they ask if they should keep her mulligan, but the reality is like, you play Magic, you could figure it out on your own if you really needed to.
Yeah, I was gonna say mulligans are honestly probably one of the best things you could ask
Yeah, it
if you're gonna ask something.
but it's kind of just like if they're asking that means it's close and I feel like everyone is on their own kind of wavelength with close mulligans, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had a hand I thought I really would have mulled, and I think if I was too much in the mindset of best of one, it was like a two-lander on the play with no one or two mana spells at all.
Hmm.
But it had like two double web up, two removal spells, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Colin told me just keep, and then I decided to keep, and I drew my land. It worked out.
Okay. I thought you were gonna
But
say you got screwed.
no, there's another interesting moment where we're trying. You don't want to reveal cards because there's three people at the table, so you have to be careful how you shuffle.
Oh yeah.
And Colin didn't tell me this till after, but my middle seat opponent had apparently shuffled towards Colin, and he saw that he was playing a white deck.
Hmm.
And I showed Colin on the draw a hand with two mountains and Mjolnir and no other lands.
Oh,
And he told me
it's
he
pretty
would
good info.
highly recommend keeping. And then my opponent went one drop, two drop, three drop that all died the Mjolnir. So
Nice. Yeah, 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 that's good info. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into some specifics about this sealed format. Have you I mean, I already know the answer actually, but have you played any arena directs already today?
yeah, I've won two boxes so
Nice.
far
I'm
in
jealous.
2 days. And I won a box on my first attempt with in a really boring way. And I doubt this is true, but I won quite fast and right when the event started. Um, in fact, I'm curious. Like, yeah, it was pretty late in the day, I guess. It was a few
There's a lot of
hours.
people across the world too who
Yeah,
it might have been the middle of the day for
but
them or the evening.
yeah, I won with a green black deck that splashed red and white, and I basically played every single card that I would consider good in my pool, and I basically had none left over, and I double splashed the superhero Civil War, and I went 7-1, and I believe I went 1-1 in games that I didn't draw the superhero Civil War, and I just drew that card six times and
Okay.
stole games with it.
Okay.
I know the data. Let's see. The data was saying Captain Marvel was above that card, and I'm going to say that's because Superhero Civil War is a two-color card, and that is why. Um,
That would be my guess. Yeah.
I think there has not been a card printed in a long time as broken as this card. You can basically have no board and be that far behind and win games with this card, which is pretty unique.
Captain Marvel's also really good.
Yeah, it's just that I also think that's a card that has higher win rate because people on Arena aren't going to be as prone to being savvy to play around it, I guess.
Just jam into 5 mana.
Yeah, like for example, in my Arena Direct, my opponent passed with 5 mana and I had no need to like attack with all of my things. I just only attacked with my 4 power things and they had to play it in trade instead of like eat my guy, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That all matters.
Yeah.
Obviously, still a great card though.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But just the Superhero Civil War, like I just had games where, you know, it looked like I was getting trounced and I just had that on turn 5 and then I easily won.
Yeah. I'm kind of flabbergasted they didn't make that one a mythic.
Yeah.
It feels like it easily could have been a mythic. I don't really understand why they wouldn't. It's like a big, you know, super big moment in the comics and all that.
Yeah. Man, am I crazy? The win rates, is this just what happens early usually?
Well,
The
I
win rates
haven't
are,
looked
like,
at them at all.
extraordinarily
So
high on some
what
of
do you
these, you know.
what are you telling me?
Uh, there are 6 cards with above 70% game in hand win rate.
Okay, let me look at 17 lands. No, that's not that normal. So, well, one thing you could do is look at what the average is for the players. So it's 56.5. That's about normal,
Yeah.
I think.
That average is, yeah. So I just remember I feel like, you know, the high end of, I don't know, Avatar, for example, was more like 65%.
Yeah, 70 is insane.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I mean, these cards are really, really broken, and I think it probably hurts that the removal in this set is not that strong compared to more recent sets, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So these cards just take over the game way more often.
Yeah. Oh, you're looking at opening hand, huh? Yeah, opening hand 57.6 is
Oh,
the
there
is
we
the
go.
higher thing. It's not quite a that is higher.
Win rate in hand, opener, or drawing. That's what I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Open. All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's some crazy bombs in this set.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Leader, Agent Phil. Certainly anything mono. Whoa, Agent Maria Hill's really high. I guess that's opening hand. Yeah. Games been played. I honestly funny enough, I almost with every set, I feel like I get lower and lower on how much I pay attention to 17 lands, but that's just a personal thing.
Yeah, there's been times I don't pay attention to it at all. I actually felt like Team Sealed was one of the more appropriate places to pay attention to it, I guess. Because you
Okay.
just, like, want to make sure you don't leave any good cards in
Yeah,
your board.
I was gonna say when I use it, it's usually like early on, or I'm just like
Yeah.
simple questions like, is this card good? Like maybe this card is just totally not even that good, and maybe it does something unique. You know, it's kind of an odd card. I'll look
Or-
it up.
You know, there's some weird cards in the set too that are like high variant. I'm going to point at the Sentry Golden Guardian,
Yeah, yeah,
which, you know, it's a very high risk card, and I think regardless of what the data says, if you're playing best of 3 and you know, whether it starts in your main deck or sideboard, you need to be considering if, you know, that's going to change between games based on your opponent's deck, I'd say. But where you start it, you know, if it told me this card had like a 70% win rate, then I would, you know, make sure my team main decks it every time.
yeah, for
Stuff
sure.
like that. But
Yeah,
you knowing that it's worse than that or things like that lets you kind of inform if maybe it's just a sideboard card. It did seem like most people were main decking it. It can bail you out of some spots where you're really far behind, to be fair, even if it's high risk. And, you know, for example, Steve Rubin had it against me splashed in kind of his mono black villains deck, but he had a lot of conniving. It made me think that's kind of heads up because it's like if he's far ahead, maybe he just connives it away. And if he's behind, then he can add a lot of variance to the game.
hmm So, big picture in terms of like, you know, prints versus popper format. Do you think the rares or the bombs are any more absurd than they were in like some previous sets? Like I know Avatar was pretty crazy. Strixhaven kind of had its own thing going on, but
Yeah, I mean, they seem pretty absurd to me.
okay.
Like I said, there's less removal, but yeah, Superhero Civil War, not even a matter of removal, really. Just would be broken in any set ever, I imagine.
Yeah.
Same with Doctor Doom, same with Monica Rambeau. And then the ones like Leader and Captain Marvel, I think, are a result of, you know, maybe the instant speed removal not being very strong. So you can always get your 2-for-1 out of leader, and then or your Flashbane Slayer, maybe eat a creature out of Captain Marvel. Maybe you get the indestructible counter off if it's late game because they don't have anything to answer it. And then on top of that, obviously, when these cards aren't answered, they totally run away with the game.
Yeah. This does, seem like a big departure from specifically Strixhaven, where Strixhaven was just loaded to the brim with removal and instant speed removal.
It's a
and
huge change of pace.
This one has, a little bit more of a return to form where the creatures are pretty strong still, so it still seems like a high power format, but yeah, the removal is slower and more expensive.
Yeah, a good example too, or like a good takeaway from knowing the removal is slower and more expensive is in Strixhaven, I just really didn't like playing like non-ETB expensive cards, like especially 5-drops, but even 4-drops a little bit. And in this set, it's a bit more acceptable, especially if these cards maybe have value if they stay in play or could dominate the board. One I'll point out that I played recently that I was impressed with is Captain Marvel Spaceborne, the uncommon. That's basically Sarah Angel, but for a single white pip.
Yeah.
And Sarah Angel used to be kind of a terror of limited in the old days, and it feels kind of that way again here, where like, yeah, sometimes you play it, it dies immediately. Your opponent might go up mana. Not ideal, but sometimes you play it and your opponent has no good attacks into it and they're taking 4 turn.
Yeah, context really matters. I mean, Sarah Angel in this, or like, of course, that would be insane, but in Strixhaven, it probably wouldn't have even been good.
No, yeah, I don't think it would be good.
Yeah. Okay, so with all these rares, and I know there's a good amount of fixing, are you ending up in like soup decks a lot to play all your rares? Do you find 2-color decks have been pretty useful? I mean, I know it's a little bit of a different story when you're talking about like best of one.
Yeah, there's pretty good fixing. I'm pretty into, splashing. I think it'll be pretty often that you could at least splash a color, I would guess, for some of your stronger cards or removal.
Okay.
This card, for reference, this deck, if you want to find the picture, you could, but this was black-green based, and I had a white-green land, a black-red lands, 2 super scrolls, a Quinjet, which I wouldn't always play, and then 2 land cyclers, the black one and the green one. The Quinjet I'm more into when you have something powerful like Superhero Civil War, just like a big kind of thing that's worth accelerating into. And I really, looking at this deck, I would say I had almost nothing that looked very strong in my sideboard. All the last card I added to this deck was Captain Marvel. And I played basically all my 2-for-1s, including Hydra Infiltration, even though I'm not really an attack alone deck. Just wanted, a Mind Rot. And then Hero in Training on a splash as well. And Crimson Operative, both, just like ETB draw card creatures on the splash, and Lightning Strikes, which aren't like premium removal, but just a bit more interaction.
Okay. So this is a deck you want to box with.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, kind of core set vibes then, simple, but lots of fixing. In terms of like the quality of fixing, there's actually quite a lot, but I noticed there's a pretty big dip in quality. So like Dependable Quinjet in my mind doesn't seem so great, but the lands are really good. Maybe you could speak to which fixers you like the best between the land cyclers and the green.
Yeah, obviously the tap lands or rare lands, just straight 2 colors are always going to be great if you want to pay attention to which colors you have opened. The land cyclers kind of vary. They're all like fine cards you can put in your deck. They're not that exciting either. Notably, the blue, black, and red ones are all villains, and sometimes putting villains in your graveyard matters, or just creatures in your graveyard. The dinosaur's big. It's pretty nice in green mirrors, I'd say, the 7/6 trample. And then make 2 3/2 heroes is just a pretty good card. So those are all pretty nice. You don't want to be too dependent on them.
Yeah.
The scroll, undercover scroll, is not, reliable. It's vulnerable, but it's quite strong. It's just a very, any color is really strong, and then scaling into a 3/3. There's been mana dorks in the past that you could maybe get kind of punished for putting a lot of in your deck. You basically can, if you're playing green, just play all of your undercover scrolls with no issue. So that helps a lot. The Quinjet, I agree, is a bit mediocre. Not as good as some of these other great manliths in the past. Like I said, though, I think the Superhero Civil War and Monogram Bow will be standouts of like cards so unique that they might just be worth playing a Quinjet to make your mana work.
Okay, makes sense. But certainly you wouldn't play it in like just a straight 2-color deck or anything like that.
Yeah, or even like I think my other box was a blue black splash white deck. I think I had like 2 Quinjets in the sideboard, just not necessary.
Yeah.
There's also there's some other uncommon lands that fix. There's Avengers Tower, the Villain Citadel. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, and Baxter Building. Um, these are all somewhat reasonable fixers, but two of them are, locked into creature types. So you'd want to maybe only splash certain creature types off of them. And then Baxter Building is really unique in that, like, you could play some really off the wall stuff with it. You don't really want to do that, but maybe, if you open multiple Baxter Buildings, then you might have a different conversation. Colin told me in testing he was playing against a black-red deck and went to get some water and came back and discovered that on turn 5 his opponent had just played Baxter Building and played the unbeatable Squirrel Girl.
No.
So who knows what you can really
Okay,
do.
well, how do you compare Baxter Building to like Surveillance Room? Surveillance Room is the like Crystal Grotto land that enters in Surveillance 1.
Yeah, I mean Baxter Building has a second ability,
That's
which
pretty good.
is pretty relevant and can be really good in grindy games. I also do
You
think
could
that
surveil.
yeah, I guess the fixing on that land is a lot like worse to me, even though you're still paying one more for your card. I think mostly I just like playing Baxter Building because I know I can get the engine of drawing cards later in a board stall.
Yeah, I guess Baxter Building will like kind of always cast the thing you want, whereas you could maybe construct situations where you have Surveillance Room and you still don't quite have the mana.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, yeah, it's like a perfect fixer. Like, not that I want to splash the unbeatable Squirrel Girl with Baxter Building, but like I'm definitely going to put Baxter Building in any deck that has that card, Like even if I
Yeah.
still have 11 green sources on top of the building, sometimes I'm going to draw like 3 mountains and that card could still fix it.
Or Super Scroll. These cards that are really intensive in mana, they kind of act like those filter lands from
Yeah.
Old
Now
Shadow type of thing.
the Surveillance Room, though, funnily enough, I like it in different contexts. Colin's day 2 deck was, we basically didn't have anybody to play the blue cards, and he laid them all out, and it was basically a deck. So he played mono blue with 2 copies of the blue-white Captain America.
Okay.
And had like a blue-white tap land. We decided on 3 planes, and then that would have been like 11 islands, and we just played 2. He just played 2 Surveillance Rooms, which, the Surveil land wastes in such a like low mana intensive deck was quite nice for him.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really using the filtering, but he just kind of got away with playing a Surveil land.
Okay. I did mean to ask how often monocolor decks come up in Team Sealed.
Yeah, I played against a mono black deck, but as I said earlier, they kind of got smushed by my giant green cards, and also I was really proud of my sideboarding over the weekend. That was my day 2 deck that was basically mono green, splashing black and white removal, including Killmonger and Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
And I like have the green dinosaur in my main deck, and then versus a couple of the black decks I played against, including that one, I boarded out a land and the dinosaur for 2 Roxen Brutes, the black land cycler, and boarded in like 2 decoy ploys, and my deck was like half villains and half heroes, and just kind of like had a bunch of extra 2-for-1s to board in. While still like making my mana fine, because I was just like boarding in a card I was kind of aggressively planning on land cycling because I wanted a villain in my graveyard.
Yeah. Makes sense. Before we leave the topic of fixing, how do you like restorative technique?
Not much at all.
Not
Yeah,
much
I've
at
never
all.
played with
Okay.
it.
Okay. It doesn't look great to me, but I also underestimated like combat tutorial, as the draw 2 that puts a
Mhm.
+1/+1 counter on something. So I thought
Yeah.
there was a chance.
The set I think is a little less about that, and also yeah, that's not an instant like the one in Final Fantasy, so it's not a combat trick.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just doesn't kind of work out that well, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah, 3 mana ramp is just kind of a lot worse than
I can see sets where that card's kind of good, but it's just not, playing a 2-drop into that is not really that threatening in this format, I guess.
Yeah. I guess I'm also aware that there's like some cards that have life gain synergies, but I guess not a lot of them.
Not many, yeah. Just, I mean, if you flash in your Tigra into that, like, you're doing something, but I don't know if that's really what you want to be doing with your sealed deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, in terms of just like the best colors, this might matter a little bit more for draft, but it seems like
It matters to sealed.
yeah, in terms of the data, it seems like blue and white are on top.
Yep.
Red and black's toward the bottom. Does that fit with what you've
Yeah, I would
experienced?
say green's in the middle. It's not as exceptional as blue and white, but you could have some green decks more often. I would really, and then sometimes the base black deck comes together, but even when you have the full on like Baron Strucker kind of deck as an example, um, and I think when your deck's like all villains, that card is good, but it's still just like a little vulnerable to like interaction or things like that. Like um, I played against a lot of Baron Struckers randomly in my seat over the weekend, and whatever interaction I had as my green deck, I kind of just had to play against it immediately. But it really felt like my opponent's deck could not keep up with mine after that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, black seems like maybe it could play a decent support role if you open the right cards in some pools. Like if you get
Yeah, and then it has
Pile of
great removal.
removal.
I have no
Yeah.
complaints about any of its removal spells at all. They're all very good.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of like their synergy pieces don't really.
Yeah, they're just small. They kind of do the thing. When you have all the villains, you feel like you're doing it, but like then you just have a bunch of 2/1s.
Right. Yeah, and they still have some.
And then red is quite bad.
Okay.
You could look at the data to see what red cards you should be excited about. I think that's actually somewhat accurate, though Hawkeye's Bow is kind of surprising to me. Um, Jessica Jones is very strong. That one might, on a first read, not look like it's that strong, but someone compared it to just like a personal Howling Mine, like Corrosive Portal. And when you think about it, like you tap it's done, exile your top two, you can play that turn, and then 2 turns later you could keep doing it.
Okay.
And it's not really about growing its power or anything like that. It's just that every other turn it can potentially draw you 2 cards.
Yeah.
It's almost like an enchantment, like.
Let's see. Another question I have is something I've started to notice over the years is sometimes like removal spells that are these really expensive ones that they put in the set. Like this red one, Repulsor Blast, is a pretty good example of this, where it's like sorcery speed, it's expensive, it doesn't even always kill what you want. Are you kind of depends on the format of whether those are good or not.
Yeah, it depends
what
on
do
your
you think about
curve.
these?
I mean, I'll play them if I need them.
Okay.
Our day 2 pool is an example, and I know I'm talking about Team Seal, but I think it kind of leads into what we're talking about here, where we gave Eddie just like a Boros deck, basically all the white cards and all the red cards. And because he had access to red removal, we gave me the mono green deck all 3 of his web ups. And obviously we'd prefer his deck. If you were playing normal sealed, you would probably just play your web ups and not play the Repulsor Blast. But when we were laying out like the colors, one of the things I noticed is we had 2 Repulsor Blasts, and I was kind of just like, our white cards have like 1 4-drop. So this is like not really getting in the way of your mana curve. And I think it's just very cleanly gonna pair best with our white cards to play Repulsor Blast.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I certainly around like 4 mana, 5 mana is kind of where I start to become wary of like maybe this isn't actually a good card, even if though it's a removal spell still and it could kill things.
Yeah, I mean sometimes you have to just play them and maybe pay attention to what creatures you maybe don't have to play that cost 4 to make up for it or things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is still really important to play.
In blue, there's Strixer's Stratagem, which is quite good, but still clunky and 4 mana.
Oh, yeah, I kind of wondered about that card. Those are usually instants, so it's interesting that this one's a sorcery.
Yeah, it plays well to the draw 2 cards a turn thing, and I think you'll find this true in the data almost every time. I feel like when they just tack on a little extra value like that to your interaction, it ends up being quite good.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, well, unless you have some any more big topics you want to cover, I figured we could do a couple practice pools.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Before I started playing these arena directs, I kind of thought after that weekend, looking at 12-pack sealed, that I'd imagine so many pools would just be like white blue based, but that hasn't been the case for me.
It's been more like kind of typical sealed,
like white or blue more often, but yeah.
So the first one here, I actually had started a sealed because I had one of those sealed tokens on Arena. So I'll show. Oh, I hit play. Oh my gosh. My 40 planes deck. That wouldn't have gone well. All right. It would have had lots of cows though. So I'll show you a picture of what I ended up building afterwards, but I figure we could go through and build here.
Okay, so Harbinger of the Seas, Heroic Feast, World War Hulk, Winter Soldier, Icy Assassin, Taskmaster, Ares God of War, and Wolverine Fierce Fighter. Not very strong ones. I know Wolverine has good data, but that's a hard color combo to end up in.
Green red, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So as we're doing this, we'll do our best to read everything out for the audio listeners, but obviously this will be slightly easier for people watching a video.
Yeah. White
So
doesn't have cheap creatures, so that's gonna be an
yeah,
issue.
do you like take up the shield? This is something I
Yeah, I
noticed.
do, but it's tough when you have one single white creature that costs two or less.
Right. So you'd have to fill that gap pretty hard with
Yeah,
other
you'd have to
things.
find another color that has cheap creatures. These blue
Hmm.
cards have these are some nice blue cards. I could see it complementing another color or even splashing some of these, like Justice or Trickster's Stratagem.
Yeah, Justice Fantastic Attack. The shield deployment drone is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Stature has been seems really good.
Yeah, there's sometimes some nicer things to do with it, but it is pretty just solid on rate, weirdly
Okay.
enough.
Yeah.
Atlantis
Um,
attacks.
Atlantis attacks. Yeah, that's the one that makes a big hexproof guy, bounces some things.
We don't really have any premium black removal, just two Widow's Bites.
Hmm.
We have two Evil Thralls. Did we have any of the 3 mana guy that sacked things? I think we did. Kingpin's
They had
Enforcer.
one. Yeah,
One. Okay, not that that combo is even that easy to pull off, but just something I'd look for.
it's something. Yeah.
Then Photon Blast Barrage is quite a strong red card, but we have no Hawkeye. Maybe we have Red Hulk. I don't know if we do. Nope.
Do
For
not.
those that don't know, if you untap with Red Hulk and play Photon Blast Barrage, your opponent will probably die. You can just keep pinging the Red Hulk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Even if you don't have a land drop and you spend 6 mana, they'll take 15 burn and you'll attack them for 6 trample.
Very
Or
nice.
sorry, not 6 trample. 11 trample.
Is Red Hulk an uncommon?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Um, Green. What's it? What
Yeah.
do you think about this Claim the Kingdom card?
I think
All
sometimes you
land
might
thing.
have to play it, but I'm not excited to.
Okay.
But you might need to like use it as a synergy piece potentially for counters or things like that.
Yeah. World War Hulk. I don't think that's one of the better rares, but
No. I
um,
lost a game to it in the Green Mirror, and then that was the only time I boarded in my like red black tap lands and hour defeats. And my opponent didn't draw World War Hulk again, but boarding in more removal in the Green Mirror worked out.
mhm. We have a green land cycler. I believe we also had a red one, and then we've got three dual lands: a blue black, white black, and green black.
Yep. Anything else? Surveillance Room. We have that Wolverine. We have a Killmonger, one of the stronger cards in the set. We have Herbie, which makes a lot of decks. Um,
Herbie. Yeah.
yeah,
All
it
right.
looks a little weak.
Okay, let's minimize them a bit here
Yeah,
again.
we can. It seems hard to play white. Um,
Blue. Do you want to look at perhaps a blue deck? Um,
I'm not that interested in a full-on blue deck. It wouldn't be that bad, but I might want the blue cards later.
mhm. So when you have, I mean, this is obviously a weaker pool. When you have a weaker pool like this, what is your general strategy? Are you just trying to put together like an aggressive deck, maybe, or
It doesn't look like you have the curve for an aggressive deck. I was looking at all of your cheap cards. Something I started doing on Arena is just clicking all of your 1 and 2 mana cards from the screen, basically.
okay?
And literally all of them. I'll just click all my 1 and 2 mana cards and I'll go into the next color and kind of see where the color share is on your cheap cards you could potentially play. Even if there's unplayable ones in there, at least you have like a sense of what like cards excite you in those slots.
Kind of like this idea.
Yeah, I think it gives some useful insight. My inclination is that we're going to be a green deck splashing, and then we might even have to play the card I'd mentioned not really liking, the restorative technique.
Yeah.
I didn't see great reason to want to play white at all. There's some blue cards that would be nice to splash. There's Wolverine that would be nice.
Does feel like green maybe
And
has the
then
best base.
yeah, like maybe green black because of the Widow's Bites.
Okay. Oh, you like Widow's Bite?
Yeah, I think that card's pretty good.
Let me read this card again. Okay. Um, Let me start pulling some green stuff then.
Yeah.
We've got like, a 2-drop. Is this a spot replay Claim the Kingdom?
Yeah, we might.
Probably. White Tiger, that seems pretty
That would be
good.
quite good.
Ant Army.
Yeah, I like Mr. Hyde and Sealed. It's been pretty impressive to me.
Okay, what do you have any experience with this Hero's Feast card? I know it's a rare.
No, we could pay attention to the life gain. The lands will count, and
Restorative Technique.
yeah, that would count too.
Yeah.
I'd probably part of why I'd want to be green black is Killmonger is genuinely one of our strongest cards in our pool.
Okay.
Um,
What about this Titania? This seems like a decently strong card.
I never discard to it, but it's a 5 mana 5/5 ward too, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't seem horrendous to discard to. Could discard a
Yeah,
Restorative Technique. If we play green, we get this abomination guy. That's
Yep,
pretty
that guy
nice.
would be in. I don't mind giant growth either. I guess we also we could, and we'd have to be careful of our non-permanent count. But the feast also has some rapid rescues, which I don't think is an unplayable card by any means. You just have to make sure your deck isn't like a bunch of non-permanent cards. Like I'd probably want less than five.
Yeah, I kind of
Because
like
sometimes
that.
your removal ends up being permanents in decks like these. Like I played one in my deck with 3 web ups or whatever, stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Um,
Yeah, go digging
I
for.
mean, Wolverine's like our other really strong card in this pool.
What about this Hulk guy? He's
He's
okay.
pretty strong. He's big at
Gamma
least.
Goliath. Yeah.
Yeah. Have a green black land. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we used the green blue land.
Okay, well, we don't have a green blue land. We have a blue
Sorry,
black.
blue black. I misspoke.
Okay.
And then probably that could lead into playing Taskmaster.
Okay.
And then we would look at our black cards. Because we have 2 Roxanne Brutes, so that's gonna help with our mana a bit too. Um, the Agent of Hydra will play well with the Shieldmonger or the Killmonger. Then we have 2 Widow's Bites. I don't really want to go on the villain things much more than that. I like Ninja of the Hand in Sealed. Um,
Okay. That makes sense.
yeah. I like Visions of Villainy, and I like the Brutes.
All right. It's the land cycler.
So we have enough like good stuff going on that I'd probably give up on like Heroic Feast, Rapid Rescue. Um,
Fair enough.
like if we just kept adding cards I thought were really good to our pool, I'd add Justice next. Um, we don't have to maybe delve into the stratagems yet, but we might need them for interaction.
Stratagems, the trickster stratagems. Okay.
Yeah.
The sorcery blue thing.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
maybe what we have to do is give up on like the red, and just kind of lean heavy into the blue
Mhm.
because we have a land to help. And
Yeah,
honestly,
I certainly don't love playing 4 colors unless we've got
yeah,
tons of good affixing.
yeah,
What does this Kang guy do? Kang Temporal Tyrants.
he's not that good.
Yeah. Okay. Not exciting.
Yeah, I mean, so if we would cut the restorative techniques, do we need them? We would have like 1,
What's our fixing otherwise, or just
2,
our
3, 4,
lands?
5. Yeah, like the first island gets you to 5 like potential blue sources.
Oh, we have the land cyclers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which also makes you not want to play like 4 colors as much because you need to like specifically get only 1 land or whatever.
Yeah. Whereas if we were excited about playing a rainbow fixer, that makes them better. That's why something like, Potioner's Trove was so good in Secrets of Strixhaven. But Dependent Windjet just, I find
Yeah.
it hard to believe that Crew 4 3/3 flyer is nearly as good as that. Do you like any of these red uncommons? These appealing
Not enough to
to try them? Okay.
like I kind of want to play the trickster stratagems or maybe 2 of them.
Trickster Stratagem.
They're kind of nice with the big beefy like green things. The blue removal spell.
Okay.
And I think like you could maybe get away with this as your deck.
Okay. Is there any of these other blue cards? Is Wiccan or something?
Not really.
What about Atlantis attacks?
I don't really want to have 2 blue.
Okay. Because I guess we do have a lot of black.
Yeah, I guess the alternative here is maybe we have a blue black deck. I would look at that next.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the green's not. Once you cut those green
Yeah.
fixers,
I would
it's like-
I would want the Killmonger to end up making my deck still.
Yeah. Okay. Dinosaur's kind of tough because he's actually double green.
Yeah, that we don't need.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to add some of the blue cards. Stature, Side Shifter. We have a Bold Chemist or Biochemist as a
Yep.
2-drop.
Or just a good card, I think.
Futurist Forge. Okay, a little draw 3 action.
That's kind of not that good.
Atlantean Cavalry, mediocre. Deep Power.
Power's good.
Yeah, that sounds like a good
I think
card.
the power is quite a strong card, but you should not be greedy with it, is what I'll say.
Yeah,
You should, really consider at any point you can cast this card doing it. Not always, but it's kind of, it's nice when the trick works out. I feel like the trick works out more often when you draw this card later in the game and not just like on turn 3 because people should be kind of playing around it.
Certainly, if
But
you leave up 3 mana for it, right, or if it's the only thing you're gonna do.
yeah, well, hopefully you don't have to leave up 3 mana for it. I mean, the nice part about this card that makes it so powerful is it's so easy to be like 1 mana gain some life draw card,
Sure. Okay.
which is just not really going to get in your way. But I think, the reason it's strong is because it doesn't clunk up and get in your way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find opportunities every now and then.
So it's
to
better to use it
on
on
your opponent.
It's better to use it on defense than offense.
Yeah, it's nice because sometimes you can attack your thing into their equally statted thing and maybe get a blowout for 3 mana. But sometimes you can make that same play on blocks. And yeah, I just think this card I think it's just quite good. But part of why it's good is because you can just get it out of your hand. You can even attack, actually. And after damage in the damage step, make sure you put your stops on arena. You can cast this for 1.
Okay. Yeah. This Wiccan guy probably makes it, huh?
We might be able to find some things. And yeah, we'll play the Atlantis attacks when we're blue based.
And attacks. Yeah. Kingpin Enforcers. Boy, this card seems a little weak, but I guess
It's pretty weak.
Maybe we only have 1 Agents of Hydra.
Yeah, and we already have a Killmonger that really wants that card to line up with it.
Yellow Jacket. This can't be very good, right?
Probably not in this deck. We don't really have the things making like lots of villain tokens.
Right.
That card's just not very good.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of all the blue-black cards. I mean, this is 22. There's a world where we play.
You can play Kang when you're straight blue-black. I don't think it's like an unplayable card. I just didn't want to splash it.
Sure.
Yeah, this looks kind of nice to me.
Okay.
And that 1 forest seems okay for Killmonger here.
Just 2 sources.
Well then 2 land cyclers.
2 land cyclers. Oh yeah. I don't know. I
So-
can't forget. This guy doesn't look like a land cycler.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
You could maybe
Right.
play a Surveil lands too. I guess it helps to have like the blue-black dual lands to justify the Surveil land.
It does. So if we did kind of an even split,
Yeah, and this is exactly what I mean. Like, I think you could cut a swamp for the Surveil lands because you'd still have 8 black, 8 blue. Sometimes the Surveil land is, going to let you overcostedly play something, and that's kind of fine. You don't have any like early double black or double blue things, and the land cyclers are also sometimes going to, help you.
yeah. Okay. This seems
Yeah,
reasonable.
not the exciting. I think this is much better than trying to play green. It's a little
Okay.
bit more cohesive. I think we have, the blue common 2 mana cards that are in this deck are often what you're playing towards in blue. They're just like 3-for-1s, which is pretty impressive to have multiple at the common level, and you can really bullhead that way.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is the deck. I will go ahead and read it out. No problem. So we've got 1 stature size shifter, the 1-drop. We have 2 Widow's Bite, Agents of Hydra, a Futurist Forge, a Bold Biochemist at the 2s. So kind of low on early creatures, certainly. I imagine these Widow's Bites, we're going to be trying to, kill our opponent's creatures and use that as our cheap plays. But we will be lacking against other people who are, have a slower start. 3-drop slot, we have Depower, Justice, Vance Astrovic, Shield Deployment Drone, Ninja of the Hand, Visions of Villainy, Titania Rugged Rumbler. 4 drops, we have 3 Trickster Stratagem, Kang Temporal Tyrant, Taskmaster Mercenary Mimic, Killmonger, Scourge of Wakanda, Herbie, Scout Unit, 2 Roxxon Brutes, a Wiccan Rising Magician, and an Atlantis Attacks. So I actually sent you the deck I built. And I built this deck kind of quickly. I'll put it up on the screen for folks out of the same pool. I did go with a green-red build. I just thought, kind of firsthand that maybe the blue and the black was like not very aggressive and also didn't really have good removal or bombs. So I thought I might just try like a curve out green-red deck. I wanted to try like Heroic Feast and these life gain things. I wanted to see if that was actually pretty good. And then this also gave me like Wolverine, Hulk, the Abomination, Terrifying Titan. I still splashed Killmonger and Ares, God of War off of black. So this also had some red removal. Curious what you think of this. I sent it to you, yeah.
I'm not
Discord.
seeing it.
Oh, I put it in the
Oh,
wrong thing.
I
Sorry.
see. You put it probably in the
I'll
attachment.
send it. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I did. So, yeah, I mean, this has like a decent curve. Um, it's definitely like it's cohesive. You just like play big green things. You have a little bit of the red interaction. I do think the blue interaction you have, even though it's not long term, is quite good.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't look at our exact deck, and it's not like because I was. This is not even an Arena Direct. This is just like was a sealed token thing. So I built this deck pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um, but this is what I landed on. Played one game so far and won. So huzzah! Played Wolverine on turn 4. That was pretty good. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do another one.
Sure. This is mostly a best of 3 thing, but Giant Growth is really my MVP over the weekends in various green mirrors.
Would you have played Giant Growth in this list? I
In
was
your
worried about
green deck, probably, but the Rapid Rescues do seem quite nice, so I'd probably be
Yeah, that was
a
my
little aware of that
hesitation,
count.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's for the marbles, so we better get some good rares. This one's yeah.
Marvels.
Ah, yes, the marvels. Arena Direct. Okay. Collector box. Boy, these collector box ones are so much better value than the play boosters. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's crazy how long they were doing this one, huh? They must really be making a lot of money on these things. It's like Tuesday to Sunday or something.
All of our rares are black.
That's nice. We got a Master Girl. I didn't even know this was in the set.
We have 8 black rares. I mean, some of them are gold for those listening. It's Masker Girl, Taskmaster, Super Scroll, Avengers Under Siege, Kingpin of Crime, Dark Fortress, Doom Reign Supreme, and Cloak and Dagger.
Love it. Good job, Arena.
Yeah.
Have you played Doom Reign Supreme? Is this card any good?
I don't think it's good. But
Yeah,
when you have a card like
bad.
Avengers Under Siege,
Maybe.
it might be better. When you can get multiple triggers out of like one card,
Right.
it makes it a little bit
Okay.
easier to do.
Yeah. So white has 2
web
web
ups. And yeah, Murdoch's Crusade.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Blue.
Had some forges. We say the Nay, a Stratagem, an Echo.
A little bit of card
Falcon.
drawing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Black,
Okay.
Widow's Bite.
Red Room Recruit is probably pretty good, right?
It's one of those ones that, like, yeah, when you're the base black conniving villain deck, you're definitely going to play it, but I think it's one that ended up underperforming, and I think it's kind of the stats reason I'm talking about. Like,
I
power
see.
and toughness, not
I guess
that
if you ever want to discard a land with it, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Super Scroll, Madam Mask is quite good. We have 2 Master of Evils if we can get more villains onto the battlefield.
Okay. Red looks pretty bad.
Yep.
I have to
We have
read some.
Specialist.
I have to read some of these cards.
Yeah, that card's pretty bad.
Yep, you have to do it every time you activate it. The Reptile Dinomorpher.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't want that one.
Move a scroll.
Okay. Pet Avengers. So like some solid green, nothing crazy.
Yep. A white blue tap land,
Okay.
the black red rare land, and a red blue tap land.
Okay, we have double Herbie. And then
Double
what does
Herbie.
this Viv Vision do? You like this card?
Not without some obvious kind of ways to get it to 4 power.
Okay, you don't like just
The most
power up version.
common of which is Vision Quest, which is a very broken card by itself. But
Sure. Okay. Well, let's certainly start looking at the black cards, huh?
yeah. And then what kind of land cyclers did we have? We have
We've got a blue one,
blue one, a black one,
2 reds.
2 red ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting Herbie in there.
Yeah. So what's our black, want to pair with it?
So the black has lacking 2 drops, looks like.
Yep.
Does it have removal? It's also lacking removal, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, really our best removal are our 2 web ups. But we do have 2 black-white rares, so
Yeah.
we might be in the market of
This
playing.
Kingpin guy, I guess he's good because he has Extort.
He's kind of just like attacks for 5 and has extort. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. I would not call him like a premium rare, but if I'm playing black-white, I don't think I'm going to ignore him.
Sure. 2 web ups in white. Murdoch's Crusade seems actually a bit of a sketchy card. How does it actually been?
I think it's pretty good. That's another one. I kind of agree with you, calling it kind of a sketchy card.
Hmm.
Um, and then it's somehow the second best white common on 17 lands, which might be revealing to like how effective you can use it.
Wow. Do you think the enchantment thing is coming up a decent amount?
I do, but not really as a 2 for 1. But I think you do just hit things often with it. I
Interesting.
might be more scared to play more than one, but
Yeah.
this first one
Okay.
I'd be pretty happy with and sealed.
All right. Um, some of these other white
Yeah,
cards.
I might want to dip very lightly into white because we have Super Scroll. So I'm kind of down for just the rares and removal as a start here.
Right.
Um,
Triple black.
yeah,
Oh,
there's also maybe a world where we play every color except green in this pool
we do have.
because we have the lands that would fill that out. And
Right.
I really want to play um, the Red Black Saga. That's like our strongest card in our whole pool.
Okay. Isn't Massacre Girl insane? Each of the
Maybe it's
creature.
also really good. You could easily wrap the board curving Avengers Under Siege into Master Girl. That will
There
probably
you
kill
go.
all
Sure, sure,
creatures.
sure. Pretty good.
So
Okay. Yeah, so I could see a black red splash here. There's nothing like, we could maybe use these Kree Sentinels since we'll have red in our deck to
yeah,
cast.
exactly. And um, maybe we can get away with. Let's see. We still need like. There's nothing cheap in red, anyways. What did blue have if we actually were going to play any blue cards? A counterspell.
Yeah, not much.
Yeah. So maybe.
I like some okay stuff if you're base blue, but
Yeah.
what about the green? So
Yeah.
green
Maybe.
has like undercover scroll. I guess it doesn't have that much, honestly. It's just got some okay creatures.
Yeah.
I might just look at just heavier black white or black and then with some white, some red.
Yeah. We could start there. Red is also one of the most important colors to have with Super Scroll.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Guess we could incidentally have blue with it. But
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, if we're playing red, then I would play the red blue land.
yeah, I'm not really seeing any more black cards I even really want. There's like,
Um, yeah, I want the land cycler. Um, and oh,
okay.
Madam Mask is very good.
Oh yeah, okay. We could discard Masters of Evil and search for Doom Reign Supreme.
Yeah. I mean, we might end up playing like one Master of Evils in this deck just because it is a nice big top end thing that's
If
good.
we could make like
Particularly,
every creature a villain, do you think it'd be worth playing Doom Reign Supreme?
yeah,
We're so
maybe,
low
but
on
I don't
two mana
think we're just
plays.
not gonna have enough creatures to do that. Yeah, you're right. Having lower on 2 minute plays maybe makes it more appealing, but maybe you just have to like figure out how to play more of these white cards.
Yeah, okay. What other white cards are good?
You just might have to play with 2 drops.
Hmm. All right. I don't like this like target your own stuff synergy thing. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of cards that actually work with it.
Yeah, you end up finding them because when you play a lot of white, you have to kind of you're forced to find them.
Yeah.
Um, I'll say 2/2 prowess has kind of been
Yeah, it's
better than it
fine.
looks.
Yeah,
You
it's fine.
can,
I mostly just we're gonna need so much black in our deck for Super Scroll, but I guess that'll just have to work itself out.
yeah,
What is this thing? That can't be
that
good, right?
card's it's fine. It's more like a
Fine.
7 drop though.
Yeah.
I'll say that curving like the Avengers Under Siege will give you some treasures and also will like give you 2 bodies that work really nicely with the Masters of Evil. I don't think
It's
I want to play
true.
2 Masters of Evil, but I wouldn't be scared to play one here. It's also like you could play Madame Mask into that, and that's quite a
Okay.
nice like collection. If you play Doom Reign Supreme, I think you're playing the Arnim Zola.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if we're playing this, we're
You
playing
probably
like
you
all
could
the
just try
villains
filling your deck out with all the villains, honestly. Maybe
and
that
see what it
would
looks
be
like.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least the cheaper ones.
All right.
Red doesn't actually give you any cheap villains. Neither does blue. Super or what is it? Undercover Scroll would be another villain, but maybe a bit harder.
What good is this Taskmaster guy?
It can target things in graveyards too, your opponents. So it's a pretty strong clone. It's pretty big.
It's pretty hard to fit in our deck, but maybe.
Yeah.
This might be the rare deck where you would play the jet because it adds rainbow.
Yeah. No, I would be pretty into it in this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about this villain thing.
Yeah.
Let me count how many there are. I could probably look like this. There's 12. So 13 with the saga.
Yeah.
You need to have 5 enter? Oh. I mean, that's not crazy, is it? Is it
When
crazy?
you have it on turn 2, it's not that crazy. The problem is you'll draw
You draw it
it later.
sometimes, yeah.
But,
It's probably not. This card's probably not playable.
yeah.
All right. You cut. It's making us play some bad villains too.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, 18 land deck.
Yeah, you could totally be an 18 land deck like this.
Just need to find one more spell.
Yeah, I mean the Okoya is a lot of stats. It's also also will help you set up Massacre Girl. I don't know to what extent you need to do that. You already have 2 Herbies, so probably not really at all.
Yeah.
Also, I guess Falcon's kind of good. That Echo card's kind of strong. Problem is I don't think you really want to include an extra blue card from here.
No. We do have 3 land cyclers, so I guess we're playing an island
Yeah.
and a
Just one
mountain.
mountain, and then hopefully not that many planes.
So this is 18 land, 8. So we 9 black
Yeah.
plus the surveillance rule. You kind of need. I mean, this is short. This is
Yeah, the
kinda
other
short on
option in the
planes, to be
school is to go
honest.
back to just playing all these black villain cards, including Doom Raid Supreme, and cutting these cheap white cards.
Yeah, I mean the cheap white cards kind of suck. Also, I mean they don't suck, but they're
Then you
just
can
like
play less. Yeah. I mean, maybe you just have to do the Doom Raid Supreme thing and hope it works, even if
yeah,
it's gonna work sometimes. It's not like it's never gonna work.
yeah.
And then
So-
that way you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
This guy's like a
Probably-
villain that kicked back another villain. I don't know
Yeah, I'd probably play him.
because this is 18 land. We still have to cut a couple.
You could probably cut just the planes because you would just land cycle more.
Yeah, that's true. And these kind of suck anyways.
Yeah.
Guy. I'm gonna cut one more.
Yeah. Just thinking about.
Is there like a non-villain in here hiding?
Yeah, but it's good. It's the Cloak and Dagger.
This is so few 2 mana cards. At least we have Avengers Under Siege.
To catch you
And
back
I
up.
guess
Yeah,
land
and you're gonna hear
cyclers.
land cycle on turn 2 a lot. You also have Massacre
Massacre
Girl to
Girl.
catch you back up.
That's kind of
And the Herbie in the Massacre Girl is a great way to start the chain too.
Yeah, I like that. I'm not seeing anything obvious to cut.
Yeah, me neither. Could always just be Doom Raid Supreme. But
it probably is, honestly.
yeah, it's
Well, I'll probably try it for science.
sure. I guess you'll just cut a villain that is not 2 villains in one body. Could be this guy.
Kingpin's
Kingpins.
Enforcers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anything to sacrifice anyways. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so this is the deck. I'll read it out. We've got a Murdoch's Crusade, Doom Reign Supreme, Red Room Recruit, Widow's Bite at 2. I also put the Land Cyclers down here since we're probably going to Land Cycle them a lot. Roxxon Brutes and 2 Kree Sentinels. For 3s, we have the Kingpin of Crime, Cloak and Dagger Entwined, Vengeance of Villainy, Hydra Troopers, Arnim Zola Biofanatic, 2 Web Ups. For 4s, we have 1 Unliving Legionnaire, 1 Super Scroll, 1 Taskmaster Mercenary Mimic, 1 Avengers Under Siege, 2 Herbie Scout Unit, 1 Massacre Girl, 1 Madame Mask, and 1 The Masters of Evil. The mana base 17 lands is what we decided on. 2 plains, an island, 9 swamps, a mountain, Avengers Hangar, Blizz the Blue White Land, a blue-red duel, a black-red duel, and the surveillance room. So it looks okay. Do you think this is about roughly average, if you had to say? A little above average, a little below? It's
I don't
tough
know.
in this
Yeah,
era of packs.
It's tough. It's probably a little below.
It's got a lot of rares. It's got to be something. It's got some
Yeah,
removal.
it does have a lot of rares, and 2 of them are pretty good against small creature decks. So you probably will have a lot of time more often than you think.
Yeah.
Or the decks that rather could kill you pretty fast, you'll have a lot of outs to just kind of beat them easily, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Hawkeye's a combo with Avengers Under Siege also and Photon Blast Barrage. I kind of wish this pool could go more red.
Yeah.
but
Hawkeye
it's
Young
kind of hard.
Adventure. Format 2-4. Source control deal not. Yeah, that's okay. This
Yeah, it
makes
doesn't
sense
actually
to
hit
me.
your own things. But yeah, I think you can't really do that in this pool. This pool would really like the like red common hydro assault robots, stuff like that,
Yeah.
or lightning strikes, so that it didn't have to rely on like white as much, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, this is my Arena Direct run. I will let you all know how this one goes in the Discord. If you do ever want to join our Discord, the way to get to it is you just go to our Patreon at patreon.com/podcast. And if you sign up there, we have just one tier at the moment. It's $1 a month. You'll get a code into the Discord. And you could ask us questions, recommend video things when I do my weekly videos, that sort of thing. Okay, Jacob, anything else for Marvel Sealed? Good luck on your Arena Directs.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those listening, I know they can be wild, so try to keep a level head, that's for sure. That's the best advice, honestly, that I've had for these things.
Yeah, nowadays I've played so much Best of Unlimited, I'll think I have the best deck of all time, and I know I'm like it's go to.
Yeah. You just go have a sandwich and be salty somewhere else. Don't fire up another one right away.
Yeah. Good advice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching or listening, and we'll catch you next time.
So we got paired against the team of Nathan Stoyer, Oliver Tomiko, and Austin Bursavich. And random little like fun story before that is in 2020 they announced a team sealed tournament in Seattle. It would have been Ikoria Lair Behemoths in like June or like this time of year. And Colin, myself, and Austin were going to team together for that. And then COVID happened and they canceled it.
Damn.
So that was a bummer. But then in addition to that, at the time Austin was in the MPL and he like leaked something from the MPL Discord that was kind of like bummer news. And Wizards' response to that was to ban him. So even though the tournament was long canceled from COVID, Austin was banned for like 1.5 weeks, which was exactly the weekend that tournament would have been. So it was like extra, like not that we would have been able to play with him. But anyways, this story
they banned one of their MPL members?
Yeah.
Wild.
For leaking something about how the MPL was going to change moving forward or whatever.
Sure.
Because he thought it wasn't secretive. It was just in his MPL Discord.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm paired against Nathan, which is like a nice motivator for me because I'm like, you know, just trying to play my best, and he's the most recent Pro Tour champion, and I'm kind of really ready to lock in and play.
Yeah.
I don't keep like a great hand. I play Captain America Shield on turn 2, which is the 2-mana indestructible equipment that gives +0/+8 vigilance, and when it attacks, tap target creature.
Okay.
He plays Hawkeye, the rare, the 2/2 first strike reach. That notably, when it becomes tapped, you can pay a mana up to like 3 times, and for each time you do it, you can pick a different mode. One of the modes is target creature can't block. That matters a lot here. I play Hercules, the 3-mana 3/3 that has power up for 5 and pass. Before playing a land, Nathan attacks with Hawkeye, uses none of the modes. I decide because my thing's about to become a 3/11, I'm not going to block and like eat this trick, probably take up the shield or something. On my turn, he passes a 3-mana, and then on my turn, I don't have a land drop. I equip my shield, I attack for 3, and I have both Go Nuts and Giant Growth, but I don't want to parlay the Go Nuts into what I thought was already take up the shield, but maybe it's even worse and it's like Spider-Man. And he flashes in Spider-Man on my end step. And then he untaps, plays his 4th land, says, combat, attack with both creatures. I'm going to hold priority. Remember that Spider-Man is a 3/2 vigilance reach. So he's tapped Hawkeye, attacked the Spider-Man. He's attacking both of these into my 3/11.
Okay.
I just figured, he'd say target creature can't block. I'd take 5.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm going to take up the shield, my Spider-Man, and then I'm going to tap it to Teamwork Hulk Smash to destroy your artifact and deal 4 damage to your creature.
All right.
And I'm kind of just sitting there pausing, and honestly, I'm like so locked in that the first thought in my mind is like, how can I keep this from getting rewound? Because for those that haven't followed the story, Hulk Smash destroys an artifact, and Captain America's shield is indestructible, so it's not going to get
Yeah.
destroyed, which means I'm just going to have a 311 still in combat.
Uh,
And then Austin looks over and goes, "That shield must be indestructible," from the look on Jacob's face. and
no way.
and then, well, like he probably guessed it was because it's literally Captain America's shield.
Wait. Was he not mid-match?
He was, yeah.
Oh, wow. And you still paying
But I probably
attention?
just had such a weird pause.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
And yeah, if Nathan doesn't opt for a rewind, and I eat his 2 removal spells, and I don't block Spider-Man because it's indestructible, but I eat his Hawkeye because he tapped out. And it's like not really a strategical error; it's more a card reading error, and the cards are new.
Yeah.
And I also think at team tournaments, people maybe are a little less focused because they just have their friends sitting to their left and right. So I'm sure maybe almost every time at the Pro Tour or whatever, Nathan would make sure to read that card before he makes a play like that.
Yeah.
But
It is.
just
I
kind
mean,
of
it's
funny
a pretty weird thing that like the equipment has indestructible. Like, why isn't equipment have indestructible? You know,
because it's made of adamantium.
that's true. Well, there's multiple indestructible equipment in this set actually. So
Oh yeah, what's the other ones?
the other one
yeah,
is the one
dragon.
mana guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm kind of upset Wolverine is so destructible.
He he's got like pseudo regenerate kind of.
I think I would have been much like I was talking.
Yeah. Why
After
doesn't he
hearing
have
the story,
regenerate? Hang on.
I agree. Yeah, I would think if I was signing Wolverine, I would make sure he says regenerate.
Yeah. Who cares if they don't?
You
do
don't
that
have to get
mechanic
too
anymore.
fancy. Like I thought, you could do like, if he would be destroyed instead of regenerate and make him truly unkillable because that's kind of who he is. But whatever, you can make it cost a green. Like,
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Regenerate's perfect because he like taps and leaves combat, has to like recover, but he's always coming back.
it's almost, in my opinion, like the mechanic regenerate from mana is likely inspired from Wolverine's existence from before Magic even existed.
That's true. That's
it's
true.
probably the case.
That could
So
easily
it's
be the
kind
case.
of like a shame that he doesn't have regenerate because I kind of expect that's like just true.
Yeah. I wonder if like the commander one does or something.
It does, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna look it up just for shits and giggles. Yeah, there's all these Wolverines. Oh yeah. Wolverine best there is commander one in a green regenerate. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, because this text on it is pretty weird. It's like so rare that that's even going to come up.
Yeah, it is weird. He also because it's like, a card that's really good against him, Giant Growth. If you cast he locks himself into the fight. Like if you try to fight something and your opponent's Giant Growth, he could just kill himself.
Yeah,
it's kind of embarrassing.
It's like an effect that does something but doesn't look like it does anything because it's just it changes how your opponent will play some of the time.
Well,
but
it does something with his text box, right? You play them, fight their guy,
Sure.
and get to attack with haste, and they don't. Even if you fought their 3/3, they can't block it with a 2/2.
yeah, but it could have just easily have been templated like all these other cards where he deals damage equal to his power to that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's just a glorified hasted flame tongue combo.
Yeah.